I don't think people understand the true implications of utilitarianism. You need to hear this if you're a thinker. What makes an action right or wrong? This question has puzzled philosophers for centuries. Utilitarianism offers a compelling, albeit controversial, answer. It proposes a simple idea: the best action is the one that creates the most happiness and the least suffering. This seemingly straightforward principle, however, leads to complex and often uncomfortable conclusions. Is it justifiable to sacrifice one life to save 10? What about the rights of the individual versus the needs of the many? These are just some of the questions that arise when we delve into the world of utilitarianism. At the heart of utilitarianism lies the moral calculus, an attempt to quantify happiness and suffering. This involves evaluating the consequences of actions to determine their overall utility. However, quantifying happiness and suffering is fraught with challenges. Different people experience happiness and suffering in varied ways, making it difficult to measure and compare. Additionally, predicting the long-term consequences of actions adds another layer of complexity. Despite these challenges, utilitarianism has inspired movements like effective altruism, which seeks to maximize positive impact. As we explore this philosophy, we must engage in thoughtful reflection on its principles and the ethical dilemmas it presents. Utilitarianism, at its core, is a consequentialist ethical theory. This means that it judges the morality of an action solely based on its outcomes or consequences. The roots of utilitarianism can be traced back to the late 18th and early 19th centuries, with key proponents like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. Bentham introduced the principle of utility, which guides utilitarians in their moral decision-making. This principle can be summarized as seeking the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people. However, utilitarianism goes beyond simply maximizing pleasure and minimizing pain for humans. It extends this consideration to all sentient beings capable of experiencing happiness and suffering. This means that the well-being of animals, for instance, carries moral weight in utilitarian calculations. This aspect of utilitarianism has been particularly influential in the animal rights movement, challenging traditional views that prioritize human interests above all else. Critics often misinterpret utilitarianism as a cold, calculating approach that disregards individual rights and justice. They argue that it could justify sacrificing the few for the benefit of the many, leading to morally reprehensible outcomes. While these concerns are not entirely unfounded, it is crucial to understand that utilitarianism does not endorse blindly pursuing the greatest aggregate happiness at any cost. Instead, it advocates for a nuanced approach that considers the long-term consequences of actions and the distribution of happiness and suffering. True utilitarianism seeks to create a world where everyone's well-being is considered and where we strive to minimize suffering for all sentient beings. One of the most persistent criticisms of utilitarianism is its susceptibility to morally questionable outcomes. Critics point to historical examples where leaders claiming to act for the greater good committed atrocities. Regimes like those of Hitler, Stalin, and Mao Zedong, known for their brutal policies and disregard for human life, are often cited as evidence of utilitarianism's dangerous potential. It is crucial to note that these regimes did not genuinely adhere to utilitarian principles. Their actions were driven by ideologies that prioritized specific groups over others, often justifying violence and oppression in the name of a supposed greater purpose. Utilitarianism, in its purest form, does not condone such actions. It emphasizes the equal consideration of all individuals' interests, regardless of their race, religion, or social status. However, the historical misuse of utilitarian rhetoric highlights a crucial point. Any ideology, even one grounded in promoting happiness and reducing suffering, can be twisted and manipulated to serve nefarious ends. This underscores the importance of critical thinking and a nuanced understanding of ethical principles. The trolley problem is a classic example that illustrates how good intentions can lead to morally questionable outcomes. In this thought experiment, one must decide whether to divert a runaway trolley to a track where it will kill one person instead of 5. The utilitarian choice to save more lives can still feel deeply troubling. Real-world scenarios, such as wartime decisions or public health policies, often present similar dilemmas. where the greater good is weighed against individual rights. It is our responsibility as individuals and as a society to be vigilant in identifying and challenging such distortions, ensuring that ethical principles are used to promote justice and well-being for all. Peter Singer is a prominent figure in the evolution of utilitarian thought. Known for his influential work in ethics, Singer has made significant contributions to the philosophy, particularly in the areas of animal rights and effective altruism. In his groundbreaking book Animal Liberation, Singer argues that the interests of animals should be given equal consideration to those of humans. This work has been pivotal in the animal rights movement, challenging the traditional view that humans are superior to other species. Additionally, Singer is a leading advocate of effective altruism, a philosophy that encourages individuals to use their resources to do the most good. He urges people to consider the impact of their charitable actions and to support causes that can make a significant difference. Through his work, Peter Singer has reshaped utilitarian thought, emphasizing the importance of considering the well-being of all sentient beings and promoting a more compassionate and effective approach to philanthropy. So let's delve into the idea of extending the moral circle in utilitarianism. Essentially, this means expanding our sphere of moral consideration to include beings who might not traditionally be considered, such as non-human animals. It's about recognizing that our actions affect a broader range of entities, and that they too have interests and well-being that matter. This concept challenges us to think beyond our immediate community or species, and to consider the impact of our choices on all sentient beings, including future generations. By doing so, we can create a more inclusive and compassionate ethical framework that benefits both current and future beings. Pretty interesting, right? In this scene, we explore the principles of effective altruism. Effective altruism is about using evidence and reason to figure out how to benefit others as much as possible. Utilitarianism guides us to make decisions that maximize the good we can do with our resources. By evaluating the outcomes of our actions, we can discover more effective ways to make a positive impact on the world. Now let's delve into some controversial offshoots of utilitarianism. One such offshoot is negative utilitarianism, which focuses on reducing suffering. This philosophy suggests that minimizing pain and suffering should be our primary goal, sometimes leading to surprising and even uncomfortable conclusions about how to allocate resources and efforts. Utilitarianism isn't just a theoretical framework, it's a guide for real-world action. From public policy to personal choices, utilitarian principles can be applied to a variety of situations. By focusing on the outcomes, we can strive to create a world where happiness is maximized and suffering is minimized. For example, public policy decisions like healthcare reform aim to benefit the greatest number of people. Ethical dilemmas such as choosing to recycle or making difficult medical decisions are also guided by utilitarian principles. Finally, we come to weighing the scales of utilitarianism. One of the strengths of utilitarianism is its focus on maximizing happiness and reducing suffering. However, measuring happiness or suffering can be quite complex. Critics argue that this complexity can lead to oversimplifications or moral oversights. Despite these challenges, proponents believe utilitarianism offers a valuable lens for ethical decision-making. To trace the historical roots of utilitarianism, we must journey back to its early philosophical influences. The seeds of utilitarian thought can be found in the works of ancient Greek philosophers, medieval scholars, and Renaissance thinkers. However, it was during the Enlightenment in the late 18th and early 19th centuries that utilitarianism began to take shape as a distinct ethical theory. This period of massive social and industrial change provided fertile ground for new ways of thinking about morality and society. Jeremy Bentham, an English philosopher and social reformer, was pivotal in the early development of utilitarianism. Bentham articulated the principle of the greatest good for the greatest number, laying the foundation for utilitarian ethics. He argued that Laws and social policies should be judged by their ability to promote overall happiness and reduce suffering. John Stuart Mill, following Bentham, expanded and refined utilitarian thought. Mill introduced the concept of qualitative differences in pleasures, asserting that intellectual and moral pleasures are superior to more base forms of happiness. His seminal work, Utilitarianism, published in 1863, remains a cornerstone in the study of this ethical theory. These early contributions laid the groundwork for modern utilitarian thought, influencing not just philosophy, but also economics, political science, and public policy. As we consider the complexities and challenges of applying utilitarian principles today, it's essential to remember these foundational ideas and the historical context from which they emerged. In our next scenes, we'll delve deeper into how these ideas evolved and continue to shape ethical decision-making in contemporary society. While utilitarianism offers a straightforward and seemingly fair approach to ethical decision-making, it is not without its critics. One of the primary criticisms is that utilitarianism can lead to morally questionable outcomes. For instance, if the happiness of the majority can be increased by sacrificing the well-being of a minority, utilitarianism might justify such an action. This is often referred to as the tyranny of the majority. Another significant criticism is the challenge of quantifying happiness and suffering. Critics argue that it is nearly impossible to measure these states accurately, making it difficult to apply utilitarian principles in real-world scenarios. Additionally, the focus on consequences can sometimes overlook the importance of intentions and moral duties. Deontologists, for example, argue that certain actions are inherently right or wrong, regardless of their outcomes. Expert opinions also highlight the potential for utilitarianism to be misused. Philosopher Bernard Williams contended that utilitarianism could erode personal integrity by forcing individuals to act against their moral convictions for the sake of the greater good. Similarly, Amartya Sen, a Nobel laureate in economics, has pointed out that utilitarianism can ignore issues of justice and rights, focusing solely on aggregate welfare. Despite these criticisms, utilitarianism has evolved to address some of these concerns. Contemporary utilitarians often incorporate rules and guidelines to prevent the exploitation of minorities and ensure a more equitable consideration of happiness and suffering. They argue that when applied thoughtfully, utilitarianism remains a powerful tool for ethical deliberation. As we continue our exploration, let's consider these criticisms and counterarguments carefully. By understanding both the strengths and weaknesses of utilitarianism, we can better appreciate its role in shaping ethical thought and practice. As we delve deeper into the complexities of utilitarianism, it becomes essential to examine its impact on modern ethical debates and decision-making processes. In today's interconnected world, where the consequences of our actions are often far-reaching, utilitarian principles play a significant role in guiding policies and personal choices alike. Consider the realm of public health. During a pandemic, governments and health organizations frequently rely on utilitarian calculations to determine the best course of action. Measures such as lockdowns, vaccinations, and resource allocation are often justified by their potential to maximize overall well-being, even if they impose temporary hardships on certain groups. The moral calculus here involves balancing the immediate discomfort against the long-term benefits of saving lives and preventing widespread suffering. Environmental ethics is another arena where utilitarianism holds sway. Climate change, deforestation, and pollution are global challenges that require collective action. Utilitarianism encourages us to weigh the immediate benefits of industrial activities against their long-term environmental costs. Policies aimed at reducing carbon emissions, preserving natural habitats, and promoting sustainable practices are often rooted in utilitarian principles, emphasizing the greatest good for the greatest number over time. In the corporate world, businesses increasingly adopt utilitarian frameworks to guide their social responsibility initiatives. Companies assess the impact of their operations on stakeholders, including employees, customers, communities, and the environment. By prioritizing actions that generate the most positive outcomes, businesses strive to align profit motives with broader societal benefits. However, the application of utilitarianism in these contexts is not without its challenges. The complexity of modern ethical dilemmas often requires nuanced considerations that go beyond simple cost-benefit analyses. For instance, decisions about artificial intelligence and data privacy involve balancing innovation and convenience against potential risks to individual rights and freedoms. Here, utilitarianism must be tempered with principles of justice and respect for autonomy to ensure ethical outcomes. In conclusion, utilitarianism continues to shape our approach to contemporary ethical issues, providing a valuable framework for evaluating the consequences of our actions. By striving to maximize overall well-being while addressing the inherent complexities and criticisms, we can navigate the moral landscape of the modern world with greater clarity and purpose. Stay with us as we further explore the practical applications and philosophical debates surrounding utilitarianism. Your journey into the heart of ethical thought is just beginning. Utilitarianism's influence extends far beyond personal ethics, deeply impacting public policy and law with its guiding principles. By focusing on the greatest good for the greatest number, utilitarianism provides a robust framework for crafting legislation and governmental actions aimed at improving societal welfare. Consider the implementation of public health policies. During the COVID-19 pandemic, governments around the world faced the monumental task of balancing individual freedoms with collective safety. Utilitarian principles were at the forefront of decisions to impose lockdowns, mandate vaccinations, and allocate medical resources. These measures, though sometimes controversial, were driven by the objective to minimize overall harm and save as many lives as possible. Environmental laws also often reflect utilitarian calculations. Take, for example, the Clean Air Act in the United States. This legislation aims to reduce air pollution by setting standards for emissions from industries and vehicles. The Act's utilitarian underpinnings are evident in its goal to protect public health and the environment, even if it imposes costs on businesses. The long-term benefits of cleaner air, including reduced respiratory illnesses and environmental degradation, are considered to outweigh the immediate economic drawbacks. In the field of criminal justice, utilitarianism influences policies that seek to balance deterrence, rehabilitation, and public safety. The debate over capital punishment, for instance, often hinges on utilitarian arguments. Proponents argue that it serves as a deterrent to serious crimes, while opponents contend that the risk of executing innocent people and the lack of evidence for its deterrent effect outweigh any potential benefits. Education policy is another area where utilitarianism plays a key role. Governments invest in public education systems to ensure that the greatest number of children receive quality education, which in turn benefits society as a whole. Programs aimed at reducing educational disparities and promoting equal opportunities are grounded in the utilitarian goal of maximizing societal well-being. Utilitarianism also shapes international policies. Consider humanitarian interventions in conflict zones. Decisions to deploy peacekeeping forces or provide foreign aid are often based on utilitarian assessments of the potential to alleviate suffering and restore stability. However, these decisions must carefully weigh the risks and potential unintended consequences to ensure that the actions taken truly lead to a net positive outcome. In examining these case studies, it becomes clear that utilitarianism offers a valuable lens through which to evaluate public policies and legal frameworks. By prioritizing actions that maximize overall well-being, policymakers can navigate complex ethical landscapes and strive for outcomes that benefit the broader society. As we conclude our exploration of utilitarianism's role in public policy and law, we invite you to reflect on its impact in your own community. How do utilitarian principles shape the laws and policies that affect your daily life? Join us as we continue to delve into the philosophical debates and real-world applications of ethical theories, illuminating the path to a more just and equitable society. As we look toward the future, the principles of utilitarianism will undoubtedly continue to evolve in response to new challenges and societal changes. The rapid pace of technological advancements, the intensification of global interconnectedness, and the growing awareness of social justice issues all present both opportunities and complexities for utilitarian thought. One of the most significant areas where utilitarianism may adapt is in the realm of artificial intelligence and automation. As machines take on more roles traditionally performed by humans, questions arise about the ethical implications of these changes. How do we ensure that the benefits of automation are distributed equitably? Utilitarian principles could guide the development of policies that maximize societal welfare while mitigating the potential harms of job displacement and economic inequality. The climate crisis is another pressing issue that will shape the future of utilitarianism. As the world grapples with the devastating impacts of climate change, utilitarianism offers a framework for making difficult decisions about resource allocation, environmental preservation, and intergenerational justice. Future policies may increasingly rely on utilitarian calculations to balance the needs of current populations with the rights of future generations. Social justice movements are also likely to influence the evolution of utilitarian thought. As marginalized groups continue to fight for equality and recognition, utilitarianism must expand its moral circle to include diverse perspectives and experiences. This inclusive approach can help ensure that the greatest good truly encompasses the well-being of all individuals, regardless of their background or identity. In the field of bioethics, utilitarianism will play a crucial role in addressing the ethical dilemmas posed by advancements in genetic engineering, biotechnology, and healthcare. Decisions about gene editing, organ transplantation, and access to medical treatments will require careful consideration of the potential benefits and harms, guided by the utilitarian aim of maximizing overall well-being. The future of utilitarianism will also be shaped by the ongoing debates within the philosophical community. As scholars continue to refine and critique utilitarian theories, new variations and interpretations will emerge, enriching the ethical discourse and broadening the applicability of utilitarian principles. Ultimately, the enduring relevance of utilitarianism lies in its adaptability and its commitment to improving human welfare. By continuously evolving in response to new challenges and societal changes, utilitarianism can remain a vital tool for navigating the complex ethical landscapes of the future. As we conclude our exploration of utilitarianism's potential evolution, we invite you to consider how these principles might shape the world you envision. How can utilitarianism help address the pressing issues of our time and create a more just and equitable future? Join us as we continue to delve into the philosophical debates and real-world applications of ethical theories, illuminating the path to a better tomorrow. As we conclude our exploration of utilitarianism, let's summarize its key points and assess its potential dangers. Utilitarianism aims to maximize overall happiness and minimize suffering, providing a clear framework for ethical decisions. Its practical applications are evident in public policy, healthcare, and environmental conservation, focusing on the greater good. However, utilitarianism faces criticism for potentially justifying morally questionable actions if they result in a net increase in happiness. This ends justify the means approach can compromise individual rights and justice. Additionally, predicting and measuring outcomes accurately is challenging, adding complexity to utilitarian calculations. The subjective nature of happiness and the difficulty in quantifying consequences make consistent application difficult. Despite these criticisms, utilitarianism remains a powerful tool for addressing contemporary ethical issues. Its adaptability allows it to evolve with societal challenges such as technological advancements and climate change. By including diverse perspectives, utilitarianism strives for a more inclusive and equitable world. Ultimately, utilitarianism's relevance today lies in its commitment to improving human welfare. While it may not provide all the answers, it offers a valuable framework for navigating complex ethical landscapes. Balancing its strengths and addressing its limitations can help us harness utilitarian principles for a better future. So, is utilitarianism the most dangerous philosophy? It depends on how it's applied. While it has potential risks, its focus on the greater good can lead to significant benefits if used wisely. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the nuances of utilitarian thought. We hope this exploration has provided you with a deeper understanding of this influential ethical theory and its potential to shape our world for the better. Until next time, take care and keep questioning. Subscribe for more. Hit like